Hey guys, are you going Saquon or a projected mid 23 first? Super flex, of course.
Oh, guess what? Points
What?
count. Guess what I'm doing?
You're
That
doing it,
23
huh?
first is gone. See ya, son.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got to pick the teams you want to buy them on, but yeah, that's actually a good deal relative to what it probably will cost you. So yeah, I guess I'll go with the Barkley side.
Look, even before Barkley looked like Penn State Barkley, not even NFL Barkley. He was always a guy that was in that range where if you think you have a shot to win a title and you have to give up 23 first, we've talked about it before. Him, Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook, CMC, like all those guys, Ekeler. As much as I hate giving up that 23 third and I'd rather get kicked in my Manscaped area, I will give up the pick.
All right. Yeah, it was good to see, man. I'll tell you, if there's one player that I want to see stay healthy in this league, it's Saquon Barkley. Got to root for the guy. Okay, let's throw this up here. Hey guys, happy Taco Tuesday. Well, happy Taco Tuesday to you, Eddie T. 10-team Superflex start 10. Send Lamar and Pittman for Chase, Carr, and a 23 second. Ooh, that's a good one. What do you think, guys?
10-team super flex.
I think I'd be willing to do it. I mean, it's tough because it's a 10-teamer. That's
Right.
what I always struggle with because we talked about this the other night. 10-teamers, the quarterbacks matter a little bit less, but the gap between the quarterbacks matters more because, I mean, it's only start 10 and it's a 10-team league, so equivalent to a 12-team. That's like a 12-team start 8. So the gaps between the QB 6 and the QB 18, they're both startable, but they matter more in a 10-teamer because everyone should be able to get those back-end ones easier, if that makes sense. So it's tough to send Lamar. I mean, in a 12-teamer, I would take the Lamar side all day. But in a 10-teamer, I can see this being like if you really wanted to take the gamble on Chase over Pittman by more than Lamar and Carr, then I could see it.
I could see it. I don't know if I could live with it. I got to be honest with you. This one, I'd stare at this for a little bit in my inbox if I wouldn't make a decision this quickly. I can talk myself into taking the Chase, because basically, let's look at the math of this. Chase over Pittman, by a whole bunch, right? Even if Pittman's a wide receiver 1, even if he's a wide receiver 1 this year, he's a different type of wide receiver 1 than Chase. But the same is true of Lamar and Carr. But then I get a second too. So then can I add a second to Carr and something else and go get another quarterback? I probably might do this. Sure. I think I'm doing this.
Yeah, because Lamar is 3 firsts. Pittman's 1. Right? Do you agree with that? So we got 4 firsts on that side. Lamar could be maybe just.
So I think the only thing that might have me lean towards not doing this, what is the one player in this trade that you're probably valuing more because of their week 1 performance than everybody else?
Pittman.
It's Pittman.
Yeah.
Nobody else really. Carr is what he is. Chase and Lamar performed in week 1 how you would expect. So really, it's you're buying into, and in this case, maybe you're selling Pittman on the fact that he might be what his week 1 numbers looked like, which weren't great, but they were really good. Like his usage was awesome. So maybe you're trying to sell high on Pittman, which I respect.
Yeah. So if you're watching this on replay, and for those who are here live, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. What we're doing is we're going over week 1. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. We had some booms and busts, to use the common words, but we're going to talk some dynasty implications, of what went down, what we should and should not overreact to, right? We got to love overreaction season. So yeah, we'll keep going here. We've got an offer in an inbox. This is our boy T. Sandiford. How worried should we be about Najee? 10-team, Superflex, PPR, 2.0 tight end premium, start 10. Give Najee and a 22 second. Get Derrick Henry, A-Rob, and a 24 first. What do you think, guys?
I'm taking the get side. I mean, Eric and I just had this conversation on our Patreon pod, and we talked about Najee. He kind of sold me on Najee's now below Dalvin Cook and Mixon and those guys. Like I'm looking at a 1 or 2 year window because I'm not really sure how good Najee is outside of the situation that he was in last year. Like he's probably and people are going to crush me for this, but he's probably more like the David Montgomery type versus he's an elite running back. And the foot injury scares me too. Like, I'd almost wish he would have been out for a month and the offense could kind of find its footing, and then he comes back, but they're just going to try to jam him back in too. I mean, obviously I'm a Bengals fan, so I watched every snap of that game. I mean, Steelers were one of the worst offenses in the league. They still won, but I'm not sure Najee's going to be anything close to what he was last year. So if I can get out on him and get a plus, and I'm still getting a potential hammer running back in a 10-team league, even if it's Derrick Henry, I'm still getting the first and Allen Robinson. Like, I'm taking that all day. All day. That's a great package back for Najee.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not even like Najee is a 21-year-old like pass catching savant. Like last year, a lot of his points were derived from dump offs, and kind of Sunday was the embodiment of what everyone feared for Najee right prior to the injury. It was kind of the embodiment of it, and it looked like all the things that we thought bad could happen were going to happen, and they happened. Look, Derrick Henry could outscore Najee this year, to be quite frank with you. And then I get a free 24 first. And then I get to drop Allen Robinson later in the year. So that's fun.
That is fun. Okay, so let's talk about James Robinson. So this was a question that someone posted in the community tab on YouTube, where I put stuff. If you guys are subscribers, make sure you're taking a peek at the community tabs every once in a while. It should pop into your subscription feed. But anyway, 10 team, super flex, start 9, half PPR. What are we doing with James Robinson? Sell high, hold, start. I had to start Chase Edmonds as my wide receiver 2, or my running back 2 in week 1. What do you think? What are you doing with J-Rob?
I'm waiting for Shane.
Scott's smirking.
Here's my
problem.
only
Listening. We got Scott smirking.
I gotta be honest with you. There's certain players you always get wrong, right?
Yeah.
Anything I tell you to do with James Robinson is going to be incorrect.
The opposite.
I was like, sell his ass his rookie season, smashes. I buy into him his second year, and it's a little down. And then they draft Travis Etienne and he tears his Achilles. They draft Travis Etienne, sell him down, but he's still better. He's still Travis Etienne gets hurt, so he's fine. And then he gets hurt. Travis Etienne's coming back, so I'm like, he's going to be nothing. Yep. Comes out and he looks like an absolute monster. The thing that you should know though is the usage actually favored Etienne, and this is how in targets and in goal line situations. Those are the high leverage, high opportunity areas. James Robinson obviously scored a touchdown, which is going to help you. I believe he scored 2. But just know that Etienne actually out. I don't know what's the word I'm going to use here. Out high leverage situation, Tim.
Nailed it.
So there's definitely just know that it's going to regress a little bit. But as you're running back to flex, hold on to him unless someone's offering you a first. Sure. Bye.
24 first. Is he gone?
He's gone.
Yeah. And I think so. Again, we have to look at the format. This is a 10-team start 9. He's already outside of the, hey, he matters range. So a sell would actually be breaking probably what, especially with his comment about he was starting Chase Edmonds as his RB2. I'm guessing this is probably a team that has followed a lot of what we've talked about, where they're strong at a lot of the other positions and they're searching for weekly running backs. So that's even more of a reason to say, okay, maybe I'm not going to sell James Robinson, because you're really not selling him high. You're selling him off of the fact that he actually is alive and playing and nobody thought he would. So now he has a little bit of a bump in value. But if you're just selling him for, like in a vacuum, someone would message us a trade question and say, should I give up James Robinson for a 23 second? I think Shane and I would be like, yes, smash it, with no context. But then you say it's a 10-team start 9. The only value a second has is what else can you add to that second and essentially con somebody else into taking a second plus something for an even better piece. If not, You're better off probably, without seeing his full roster, you're better off just literally collecting every James Robinson and Jamal Williams type and just going like, when am I you're going to still have to guess when to start him in a start 9. That's the problem. But at least you have 5 or 6 running backs in this range to pick from weekly. And you go, okay, this is the one I'm going to bet where James Robinson just gets 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're streaming RB2, we just did a roster review like this, and it was a 10 team. Like, that's the league you go get the hammer running back. Otherwise, you're guessing in the RB2 range constantly. So, yeah, I wouldn't sell unless you can find a way to color up to an even better piece later.
Yeah, he almost feels like a guy, like, unless you're getting like really good value right off the bat, like, see if he follows through with another good performance, because then, you know, that'll help sell him for you if you end up wanting to sell him. You know what I mean? Like, let him prove it again. Then you have more leverage in the conversation.
And here's the thing: like, I hate narratives, right? And I don't know that it's narrative with him anymore, though, because he just keeps proving me wrong.
He's
not just
good,
me,
man.
but it feels like it's a personal attack. But he proves a lot of people wrong. Like, you keep going, well, draft capital, he's not going to be able to. Well, he can't really catch passes. Well, he does all this stuff. Yep. So he continually just kind of proves people wrong.
Well, I mean, he ran 2 routes. He had 4 more touches than Travis Etienne, but he didn't have as many yards as Etienne. Mm-hmm. He just happened to get 2 touchdowns. However, in a half PPR, when you're guessing at RB2, the problem is this is the exact type of guy you wished you would have had at your RB2. And if you hit on him, you literally struck gold, because you matched half of the top 20 running backs in the league by playing James Robinson.
Right.
The problem is he didn't play James Robinson. So are you just going to chase him next week to when he gets 4 less touches and no touchdowns? And then you're going like, James Robinson sucks. I'm never going to be able to start him in a 10-team start 9. So that's the problem. It's literally, how do I get up to assets in this format? How do I move all of my assets, which means I have to play the market, to eventually get to an asset where I go locked and loaded starter every week? And the issue is, like, David Montgomery isn't even a locked and loaded starter every week in a 10-team start.
Not in that format.
So you got to get James Robinson up to like a Ezekiel Elliott level player before you even consider him to be locked and loaded. And yet it feels like James Robinson to J.K. Dobbins, it feels like that's still a long ways away. So you got to make like 2 trades to color up and get there. So that's the work you got to put in. If you're willing to do it, you can definitely grind that way.
Right. Greg, thank you for the super chat. Go Birds. As much as I don't like to put that up there as a Commanders fan. Hey, money talks. I'm cheap.
Just saying, the Eagles are just one of 16 undefeated teams in the league. Just put that. Oh wait. No, there was a tie. Never mind. Forget
there was 2 ties. There one tie.
Never. Yeah. Never mind. I'm out on math.
Greg, if you've got any, if you've got like a trade or any kind of question for us, beyond just fly Eagles fly, let us know. All right. Appreciate that super chat. Okay. We'll hide that one here. By the way. Okay. So here's a currently offered in the chat, guys. If you wouldn't mind, if you've got an inbox offer, you're like looking at that, you know, little yellow circle in Sleeper, and you've got an offer sitting in your inbox, do something in the comments like hashtag inbox offer, something like that, so we can see it and star it, because we can help you address that right now. Okay, Aaron, currently offered Breece Hall for Jalen Waddle. Do I accept? 10-team Superflex PPR. I'm in rebuild mode and have young wide receivers London, Wilson, T. Higgins, and Pitts for my tight end. I lack any RB1, and I have 2 first-round picks in 23.
Yeah, so you need a running back, but you don't need him this year.
Nope.
And look, I love Breece Hall. I literally just made a trade for him while we were talking. It was a big trade, big boy trade. Anywho, but I don't know that Breece Hall is going to be an elite running back, and that's what I'm paying up when I'm giving up Jalen Waddle, right? And I'm also taking the risk of injury this year. When Breece Hall is not really even going to be helping me if I'm rebuilding. So I'm holding Jalen Waddle or whoever the wide receiver is, London, Wilson, Higgins, doesn't matter. They're all the same dude at that point. I'm just holding them until next year after, I have two first-round picks. Do I even need running backs? And again, after that, because maybe those 2 picks are Bijan and Sean Tucker. Maybe they're Sean Tucker and, I don't know, Tank Bigsby, who's moving up. I'm just saying. So I'm going to hold.
I'm trading Jalen Waddle for Breece Hall. I don't care what team I have. Because, I mean, seriously, you have the opportunity to do this type of trade, I think, at all times if you have Breece Hall. And that's assuming that Jalen Waddle is just kind of what we think he's going to end up being. Wide receiver 10 to 25, which is great. Not everybody has to be a top 5 wide receiver. But if all I have is an asset there, and I have even if you don't think Breece Hall ends up being one of these like really high warp, high end running backs, the illusion that he might be is still going to exist for another year unless he completely falls out flat on his face. But I actually kind of was encouraged with how they used him this year. Even if he's not that good this year, he's probably going to get 50 targets. Unless the offense completely changes and is, just awful all around when Zach Wilson comes back. But I think he's going to survive this year. And next year, the illusion is going to be more like Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon. Like, is Michael Carter going to get out of the way like you hope Melvin Gordon would be? But I think I'd rather have the asset Breece Hall, even if I'm rebuilding. I'd rather have that and take my chances that I can get another receiver next year. I'd rather hold him. Because there's a chance he ends up just exploding too. And then you're just like, wow, I would have done that trade regardless of the team build.
Yeah, and my thinking with that is that I can get Breece Hall next year. Maybe not that version of Breece Hall, but I can still get that.
I think you're at risk holding Waddle.
I think
you're at risk holding Waddle to you have a season of what Waddle did in week 1, excluding the long touchdown. I get it. But I mean, if he ends up finishing wide receiver 18 this year, you're not even getting the 112 for him next year. So I think that the access to you being able to get another Breece Hall, not just Breece Hall, the running back, but you're going to also hold Breece Hall the rest of this year. And he has a window of basically he could explode like Javonte Williams did or Najee Harris did. Like, I want that on my team, even if I'm rebuilding. I feel like I'm just kind of holding a guy with Waddle, a good player, but I'd rather have the running back.
All right.
Okay, let's go to this one here. 10 team. What's up, Shane?
I was going to say, we got a really super chat from one of my favorite people. This guy is just, we could bring Ben back up, but this guy is just handsome. Nope, not him. Oh, so handsome. So handsome. So handsome.
We're splitting that, So
please, if your name is Shane Manila, keep super chatting away all night, and we'll split that 3 ways. Okay, Shane?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Shane. Appreciate that super chat. If you have a question, just put it in the chat. We'll put it up there. All right. Joseph Grant, has the market corrected on Antonio Gibson? And then Benjamin will put yours up.
It has corrected, and to the point where you just look for the next Antonio Gibson. So I think the way to treat Gibson is, hopefully you've been buying Gibson over the last month or so, just because you don't have a guy that has his profile in a 300 touch season available for where he was going. I mean, we even talked about Gibson on the channel to literally buy when he was down in like RB 40 range, simply because you're buying a backup running back that, forget about the Brian Robinson got shot stuff. Like, you're still buying a running back that is an injury away from potentially giving you pretty high-end production. So, like, at his price, it was a good deal. But now, I think the way to treat Gibson, you're not buying now, because the person's going to look at his week 1 usage, and you're like, he basically had like the Christian McCaffrey type usage in week 1. Like, he basically put JD McKissick on the bench. He was the third down back, and he still had 18 carries. Like, that's exactly what you would wanted him to have for the last year. I think the way you treat him, though, is you wait until Brian Robinson's about to come back, then you buy more Antonio Gibson, and you just bet that he's a better player.
Yeah, so he had just checking that out. He had 14
carries, 8 targets.
22 opportunities. That's not bad at all. So,
and he outsnapped and ran more routes than McKissick. That's what you want to see. Even if he loses work to Robinson, the fact they're kind of working him already in that role with McKissick on the team tells me he may have a little bit of a role that we didn't expect when Robinson comes back.
So when, Ron Rivera was saying, I want the D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart thing, and we all laughed. Well, that's kind of what they did there. You know what I mean? Like, D'Angelo Williams was obviously more of a pass catcher just because he was so goddamn fast, but Jonathan Stewart was still used as a receiver too. So yeah, I think the market's right.
Clay, you're a rookie. You're muted.
There we go. Gotta turn my
That's
little.
That's the first time Clay's ever muted himself on air. That's a moment. That is a moment. Shane does it once a stream.
Yeah, right. I was trying to be kind so people didn't have to hear me gulping my seltzer here. So, Benjamin, we got you back up here. 10 teams, super flex, start 9, PPR, 1.5 tight end premium. I was offered CD Lamb for Pittman. Okay. leave us and hit accept. No, I was offered CD Lamb for Pittman. I am a rebuilding team and think I'll get the first pick next year. Seeing what I should ask for on top of CD. And then he had a little follow up here. I offered to send my 2023 second for his 2023 first on top of CD.
It's the right thought process.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to be able to pull that off. If you can, then more power to you. It's just crazy that CD Lamb is. I don't want to trade him for Pittman. I mean, I should, exactly. Right? Because I've had 2 years where he's kind of shown me he's not an alpha, and then he goes out there and he goes 2 for 8 or whatever he does, 2 for 7, and then he's not going to have Dak Prescott for 8 weeks. So it's hard to see how this season's going to be a success. But I still, when I'm looking at ceilings, I don't think Pittman has a ceiling as CD. So I still want the CD side. But obviously, if I can get Michael Pittman in a first for CD in a second, I'm slamming the accept.
Yeah, this is the one of the biggest losers in week 1 was CD Lamb.
Big time.
Because he had no range of outcomes was acceptable for CD Lamb except for a 28 or more % market share this year, and he finished as a top 12 receiver. And you can explain it away of, well, Dak got injured and missed 6 games or 4 games or whatever it's going to end up being. It's an excuse. The same excuses people have made for Lamb for the first 2 years. Too many guys in his receiver room for him to command more than what his career, 18.5% market share in his career. Like, is that? So, I mean, honestly, if someone said they prefer Michael Pittman to CD Lamb right now, straight up, I would be like, I don't blame you for that. Pittman's actually been better in terms of garnering targets, and he was probably going to have a better 2022. Probably Pittman. Yeah. So you're going into year 4 with both guys. Are you really going to stick to your 2020 draft evaluation guns and say CD Lamb is by far the better player? I don't think you can get it straight up, honestly.
If CD Lamb's name was Joe Franklin, I definitely probably feel very different about it. But he still got that appeal to me.
I think if you can get anything on top of Pittman for Lamb, even if it's a second and third swap, I think
you have to.
You are actually taking the right bet historically if you look at their production.
Mm-hmm.
But Shane's right. There's still a bias about Lamb, and you know what? It sucks because Lamb is going to have another year worth of excuses. Like, he's probably going to hold his dynasty value into next year if Dak misses 6. Even if Dak comes back after 4 games, but he doesn't look right for like 4 more games, which is very possible with this injury. It sounds like they're going to try to rush him back as fast as possible. I mean, we saw how it worked with Russ last year. Like, the first 2 or 3 games back, he was terrible. Like, Lamb's just going to have an excuse. They're going to be like, well, Dak missed time. The offensive line was bad. Like, I don't know.
Look, you know what? The more we talk about this, one of these dudes has actually had an elite target share. One of these dudes has actually had a good target share. And both of those dudes are Michael Pittman. So just taking the names away, you got to take the Pittman side.
Yeah. You see that cheesy ticker on the bottom. It says, "Hit that like if you'd be so kind." Shane, you're the resident like police here. We've got 137 lovely eyeballs up there in the top left corner. How many likes we working with?
Well, first of all, while I'm looking
we have 9.
While I'm looking that up, I gotta throw out my usual. Hey guys, feel free to hit the share button and share us all over the Twitters and the Facebooks and stuff. Just 52 likes. So apparently we haven't really made fans of anyone that's watching the show so far. A little less than half. All right, we gotta try harder. Let's do better.
Let's do better. We'll do better for the last, whatever that math is, 36 minutes. Okay, so let's go back to the comments. And Henry here just says that he's here for the live ad reads. Well, I'm here to give a bad live ad read because support for this live stream is brought to you by Manscaped, who's the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping when you use the promo code TradesIn5 at manscaped.com. Again, that's TradesIn5 at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 12 million balls. Was my math right, Scott? You're the math guy.
Yeah,
6 million times
I
2,
kind of
12
tune out when
million.
you start doing the math, but I've heard you do the live read like 100 times, so I assume the 12 million is correct because that's what you've said the prior 99 times. So yeah, I'll
But
go with
again,
yes.
we don't know how many of these individuals were one balled or ballless. So there is that.
Oh,
Or I
guys,
knew a kid when I was younger that actually took a soccer ball to the balls and he had to have one removed. So if that was part of it, then that would be one of the ones that only had one.
And on the good side, it would take him less time to manscape than it would take me or you.
Correct.
Let's put this up here. First name, Zeke plus a 24 first for Mixon.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either.
I'll do that.
Yeah. I think Mixon is probably a year behind where Zeke was coming into this year.
Yeah.
And now Zeke is probably like roadkill for the rest of the year. So essentially you're sending 24 first and a random second-ish value for Mixon. So yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Joey Cheese Sticks. What's up, Joey Cheese Sticks?
Joey.
Thanks for the roster review, gents. You are welcome. Highly recommend. Been offered early to mid second for Jimmy G. 12-team Superflex start 10. Have Lamar and Russ. Productive struggle. Should I just wait or fire?
I'm taking it.
Yeah, I'm taking
You
it.
take the early to mid second?
Even if he gets a job, what do you think you're going to get? Right?
With the Cowboys? No.
It's gonna be a second. I can't see someone paying a first for him, so I'm fine with taking this now.
Right.
Well, just to give a little context, how much would it cost you to go out and buy Matt Ryan right now? Not a first, right?
A couple seconds.
Baker Mayfield.
Couple seconds.
Daniel Jones, Ryan Tannehill. Like this
Late
is
third.
okay.
Daniel Jones might cost more. Let's tell you what.
I think the point is this is the
25
range.
first.
This is the range Garoppolo would fall into as soon as he gets a starting job. And it's never, these guys are never trading for first unless you are in a league where somehow someone's just bent over the barrel and they manage to give up a first. So like at worst, it's cost you 2 seconds to get a guy like this. When he has the job, I'd rather just take the 1 second now. And problem is no one's really given a second for Garoppolo. So that just tells me right there, if I can get it, then boom, take it. Great trade, Joey.
Great trade. Okay. Let's see. Jerome. Let's go to the comments. Thank you, Shane. What's up, Jerome? Thank you for the roster review, gentlemen. Yeah, so Jerome wrote us an awesome feedback note on that too. We really appreciate you taking the time to write that. How do you navigate a league that is completely oblivious to the sell high concept? Nobody wants to explore a trade for Saquon. I have him.
Is that before this week?
Yeah, I'm taking it based off the sell high question that he's talking. It's based off of this week. Look, if it's a fair offer that you're still getting, then take it. Sometimes you can't get the extra juice out of your league. You know the economy better than we do, right? Trust me, there's many leagues that I'm in where I'm like, guys, what are you doing? Like, don't you understand why this is a good deal for you? But I can't make people smart. I try. I fail, but you just can't. So sometimes you just got to take the best deal, assuming that you're not selling at a loss, right? Yeah, I'm not saying take 3 seconds for Saquon, but if someone's just willing to give you a 24 first and a 24 second, you just make the decision right then and there. Okay, is it worth more for me to hold on to him and seeing if his value will increase, or am I willing to trade him now and mitigate the risk, or actually just be done with the risk? You got to decide what's more important to you. I'm usually of the mind of, it's a running back. He's probably going to explode at any moment. Let me make the deal now. That's just how I personally do it, right? So I could be leaving value on the table because what if Barkley's healthy for the next 5 weeks and goes out there and he's the running back 3 overall? You know what I mean? At some point, someone's going to come knocking and want to pay that exorbitant price that you were trying to trade him for.
So, and I agree with everything Shane said. Here's the phenomenon that you dealt with Barkley. So I had Barkley in July, right? I put him on the trade block. Anybody want him? The comments might be, I'm not really interested. He's too injury prone. I don't really want to take the risk on Barkley in July because I don't have to. I'm going to hold my picks for in the future. We talk about that all the time, right? So maybe I feel like all summer I've been trying to trade him and I can't. Then he has a great game. Looks like the best running back in the league. Then I go to put him on the block, and 3 people within 10 minutes message me and go, hey, I'm interested in Barkley. So I'm thinking I got the fish on the hook now, right? But then I get their offers, and they're basically like baseline offers of what I would have wanted in July. And I go, no, he's worth double. I won't sell him to anybody. I'm not selling. When really the middle ground is now that you had nobody that wanted him in July. You have 3 people that want him now. So the real middle ground is just hashing out that price. But from a strategy perspective, if you're truly like a punting team and you are trying to quote unquote sell high, sometimes the sell high is that someone's now interested. If he puts him on the block after a good game and literally he doesn't get one offer, what can you really do in that league? You're not going to go say, I'm selling him at 50% off, because you were really selling him at a lower price 2 months ago and you still got no offers. So I think the best you can do is just kind of put him on the block. But if you don't get any offers and you haven't named a price, then that's your league economy. They're not interested in that player. So you pivot to the other direction. Hey, I'm just going to ride Barkley out, because there literally isn't a market. You can't beat yourself up for not trading high because you had no opportunity.
Well said. Ben Carlson, thank you for the super chat, sir. Sent the guys probably the worst roster they've ever seen. Since then, I've traded Chase, Elijah Mitchell, Javonte Williams, and 4 other players while bringing back 11 picks, Burks, and Fields. Great advice, guys. Yeah, after the review, he was like, I already started the fire sale. Rebuilding's fun, man. Rebuilding could be really fun. It sounds like he's going to have a lot of things to play with now. So good stuff. Traded Chase. Hopefully he was 6 of those first, right?
Yeah, appreciate you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. All right, so let's go to this one. I just saw one. All right, 12-team Superflex, start 10. I was offered Javonte and Kelsey and a late 23 second for JT and a late 3rd. I take. I'm a win now team.
Done. I don't care what the tight end premium is either. I think if I'm willing to bet on the gap between Javonte and JT being close enough that I'm basically adding a really high potential warp tight end, even if he's 32 years old, going to be 33 years old. Like, I'm willing to take that shot. So I would take the Javonte and Kelsey side, and you're getting a 2nd for a 3rd to boot. So yeah, take it.
I'm okay with it. Yeah, look, it's not, I'm not as emphatic as Scott is. I really liked how JT was used, but Javonte was, if he didn't fumble out of the end zone, he would have had a really good game. So yeah, I like it. And look, if Kelsey's going to continue to get the usage that he did this week, where the Chiefs offense now completely revolves around him, and then, the other guys kind of get what they get, Juju. Yeah, I could live with that.
Okay. Let's go here. Buy, sell, or hold Miles Sanders.
All 3?
Okay,
Yes.
Let me ask you this. So which side are you taking? Miles Sanders or a 23 second and a 24 second?
Picks. But that you could insert 30 running backs in there that people semi-like, and I would just take the picks because I'm banking I can go buy another one of those other running backs on a bad week for one of those picks.
So I will.
Okay. So what do you think about Miles? You're go Birds, right? How did he look for the Birds this week, Shane?
He looked incredible, right?
Good.
But what's funny is the play that he's really getting lauded for, the one where he ran out on 3rd down, right, where he got stopped behind the line. The reason he got stopped behind the line, and I don't know why the local media refuses to discuss this, is because he ran into his lineman. Excuse my mouth, my French, sorry, because that's what I said during the game. He ran into his lineman's butt and then bounced off his lineman and ran. And for his, I guess, to his credit, he didn't go down when he ran into his lineman's ass, which is great. That's just some bad vision. He had a touchdown, right? He only had 2 targets. It's like the good and the bad. He had 3 carries inside the 5. He only had 5 all of last year. So basically, he's the Rostish test. You can see what you want to see. I'm going to have to go with, what has this guy shown me throughout his career? That's what I'm going to believe. Like, I've seen flashes like this before where I've gone, Jesus, Miles Sanders is good. And then he comes back and poops in my mouth the next week. Fumbles. Well, that's what he does. That's what he does. So I'm gonna go ahead and trade him because I've been here before. I wrote an article about him and said he's going to trick you at some point and don't fall for it. I'm not
tricks you
for it.
week 1, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see here.
Manscaped does not help with that, Shane.
No, no, maybe a therapist of sorts. Okay, Scott, I sent you that message. We have to find first names, previous message that he's referring to at the bottom of our starts. Okay, let's see here. In the meantime, buy Juju, buy Christian Kirk, sell Pickens, and get Kadarius Toney as far away from me as possible, says Balls is Life FF. Buy Juju, buy Christian Kirk, sell Pickens, and get Toney out of here. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, here's the problem. This is how fantasy football works, right? Week 1, people put Pickens in their starting lineup, and he went out there and he had 1 target, 3 yards, I think. I don't even know what he had. He was a ghost. He was a figment of our imagination. Already his trade value has dropped. Try to trade him now for 23 first and see what happens. Someone will come into your house, knock on the door, and then punch you in the balls for making that offer.
Punch you in the Manscaped balls.
Manscaped area. I like Christian Kirk. Look, this is kind of what we saw in the preseason, that one game they played together when he had 80% target share or 40%, whatever it was. Like, there's no other wide receivers to go to other than Zay Jones didn't do too badly. So I like it.
I mean, I think with the receivers, I don't necessarily want to I want to buy receivers and sell receivers as the market goes. But I agree with the premise of, yeah, you want to buy Christian Kirk because of his usage. I'm okay buying Juju because of his usage / the efficiency of his offense. Same with like Amon-Ra St. Brown. You can go like, all right, I'm willing to buy into what Amon-Ra St. Brown did. The problem with selling Kadarius Toney is like no one wants Kadarius Toney at all. Like, if you can get any second for Kadarius Toney, I would just take it. The problem is you spam for seconds. People are go, yeah, right. This guy's can't even get on the field for the Giants. They're starting Richie James over him.
I'm Richie James.
I just think it comes down to like you almost everyone this week wants to buy Juju. Everyone will want to buy Amon-Ra St. Brown. Everyone will go, oh, I like Christian Kirk. He's exactly what I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
The real move is to go, all right, I have a contending team. I have Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let me sell him for 10% more than what I could have got last week. But you're going to go, oh, no, man, he's great. Look at his numbers. He is exactly what I thought in my gut he was going to be. So then people don't sell those guys. Everyone wants to sell the guys that had the shitty-ass week. So I think the real game theory move is to like find the guys that you can sell that you might feel a little uncomfortable selling, but the price is going to be higher than what even the player should be worth in the first place. But it might hurt your team.
You're taking a profit. You're taking a risk, but you're taking a profit.
Well, okay, like a team where, okay, you have Jerry Jeudy and you're the first place team and he just helped you smash because he had a good week. Someone offers you a random first. You're going to go, I don't know about that. I'm a contending team. But then you really look at like Jerry Judy's probably what? Wide receiver 15, 18, 20?
Yeah,
like probably. He's in that replaceable range. So like, can you literally go buy another receiver that could come close to that, but you're netting the first? Like that's the type of move you make even as a contending team. And I think a lot of contenders, if they see Juju, Christian Kirk, Jerry Jeudy and their team, they just go, oh, I'm good. I don't need to trade. I'm not putting those guys on the block. So like that's the real grinding moves when you can take the guys everyone wants to buy and you sell as a contender because the price is just that good.
Yep. Okay. Let me
This is the one, Clay, right here.
Yeah, I was about to pop it up. Thank you. 12-team Superflex, 6-point passing touchdowns, start 9, contending. I have Herbert and Lance. Do I trade T-Law for Mixon and a second? Why should I smash this, Shane? And why do you hate this, Scott? My RBs are Zeke and Chubb right now. Okay, so do I trade T-Law for Mixon and a second? I'm contending. I have Herbert and Lance already.
So
why do you hate this, Scott?
Yeah, who wants to start off? Why would you smash this, Shane? You first.
Quite frankly, I still have seen nothing from T-Law that makes me think that he's anything above a quarterback too. And you know, I could be wrong. And trust me, I was all in on him last year, but I still haven't seen it. And nothing I saw Sunday made me feel especially that he's elite when he overthrew Travis Etienne for an easy touchdown. Instead, throws it like Etienne's 7'2", like he's Manute Bola out there. And it's a contending team. I don't want to be starting Zeke. I gotta be honest with you. Zeke's a guy I'd much rather have in a flex role than a starting running back role. I'd definitely rather have Mixon out there. So that's just, I don't think T-Law's frankly elite.
Why do you hate this?
Here was my retort. I don't care about my RB2 position in week 2. So I'm not saying don't make this trade. I think if you put this trade, see, here's the thing. You put this trade up on Twitter, T-Law for Joe Mixon, it'd still probably be like 40% Joe Mixon. And it would be the 60% that said they'd rather have T-Law would be sticking to what their prior evaluation on what his rookie value was last year. But I think the 40% would be like Shane. Oh, I've seen nothing from him. He's not any good. This isn't the type of deal that I'm making in week 2, because if I'm that panicked over Ezekiel Elliott being in my starting lineup, then I probably don't have the team to absorb to make this trade in the first place. So this is more of just a theory discussion. I'm not saying you don't want to make this trade. You know when I want to make this trade? In week 9, when I've seen Joe Mixon survive 8 weeks and he's given me 4 top 10 weeks. His price isn't going up much higher than it will be in 2 months. In fact, it may go down because I don't care about Joe Mixon, but there might be 6 running backs in his range. What if 2 of them are on teams that fall out of it between week 4 and week 10? Yeah. Then they're even more desperate to trade, and they're then desperate to get something young. Maybe they can't get a draft pick. They're going, oh, T-Law, okay, I can tell myself a story where he's usable next year as a starter. So I'm just not making this trade right now. Maybe in 2 months, and if the price has gone up a couple ticks, then fine. But I'm just looking at it pure startup value. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I look, and I don't. Once I'm in season, I'm fine taking players on. I don't look at like, oh, it's week 2, so I can't make it. It's too soon. And I get the thought process behind that is that, look, the running backs could get injured. There could be other guys that shake loose. I can see what's in front of me right now, though. I can see that there's a running back that can help me right now lead my team to victories over the next 5 weeks, as opposed to what I have right now and I lose. And yes, I mean, look, sometimes the winning margin is that thin. Sometimes you just look, Clay can tell you, sometimes you just win by 4 points. Sometimes it happens, you know what I mean? And
it's a battle.
It happens more often than you would think, to be quite honest with you. But I like making moves as soon as I can make them. You know what I mean? For any position. I don't like waiting, like, oh, I'll get a running back later. Like, too much can happen between now and then. I'd rather get the player now.
Okay, we have 152 people watching us. Shane, like police, how are we doing? Are we still in the 50s?
We're getting at 92.
All right.
We're at 92, right. But I would hope for at least 100. Oh, someone disliked us. Oh, there it goes. 92. Okay.
Nice. It's funny too, because like I look at the analytics of these live streams, and there's always like a few dislikes. It's like, what the hell, man? Like, why are you disliking this? Like, what do you dislike about it? You're still helping us with the algorithm, so keep giving us the thumbs down. Okay, so let's go to Judy and a 24 first or CD Lamb.
I don't think so, man.
I love Jerry Judy, man.
Judy's exactly what you kind of hoped he would be. He's attached to efficient offense, and I don't want to say he's good, but he's shown enough with his career market share, like right under 20%, that he's probably good enough to sustain top 36 numbers on any team and potentially top 18 to top 12 numbers on a efficient team. So I don't want to say I don't see the difference, but honestly, like, you put CD Lamb on the Broncos right now, is he guaranteed to be better than Jerry Jeudy? Nothing about his profile or his historic numbers say that he is. It's the name, man. It's the name CD Lamb. There's a reason he's wide receiver 3 in Dynasty. The only justification of taking the CD Lamb side here is preying on the fact that the community still has a bias when you hear that name. And it may still linger for another year because his quarterback's injured.
Yeah, and that's the only reason I think I'd hold on to him. But I could see easily taking Jerry Jeudy in the 24 first. Like, it wouldn't. I wouldn't feel bad if I made that deal because honestly, yeah, CD Lamb, we've talked about this before. He was the wide receiver 3 in ADP by default because it went, oh, well, it's Chase and Jefferson. And then I guess the CD Lamb guy who crushed in college and in theory should be crushing it in the pros. And he's actually been good. So maybe he'll take that next leap when the truer sense or the truer outcome is probably just that CD Lamb is good, And
I mean,
Jerry
can you
Jeudy's
send CD Lamb right now, regardless of the league? Can you send CD Lamb and get Stephon Diggs?
good. There's ageist leagues.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, if it's a middle of the road.
There's
Okay, assume the team that has Diggs, Cup, or Adams just scored 250 points and they're destined to be a first or second place team. Are you truly getting that deal done, CD Lamb, for one of those guys straight up?
Nope. Yeah, I
Probably
think,
not.
I think good.
A lot of leagues you're getting rejected.
I,
That just tells you
sitting, or that thing is just gonna sit. And
exactly.
there.
But it's not smashed. The Cup manager that's in first place and the defending champion and is looking at a 120 catch season is not going to smash accept that. And I think that speaks to exactly the difference between the CD Lamb value versus when you truly have to pull the trigger and pay the price of what his current ADP is. People can't do it. And that hesitation speaks to exactly what we're talking about with these pivot trades. Like it might sound great. People go, oh, smash the CD side, dude. He's great. And then until it's in your inbox, you really giving Judy in a 24 first for CD right now, Clay?
Nope.
No.
You know you're not. You know you're not.
I'm already too exposed to CD Lamb. Oh man. Yeah, it's brutal when you have the CD Dak stack looking lovely. You look at your roster like, yeah, CD Dak makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside and down in your Manscaped area. Okay, let's see. Let's put up Barkley or Brees in Dynasty.
Brees.
Yeah, I think you still got to go Brees, but it's the same type of thing we're just talking about. Like, but I think Brees showed enough though. Like he kind of showed enough of what you would hope he becomes, even if it's not Jonathan Taylor. Like I really liked his usage from week 1. Like I would be willing to kind of double down and pay 10% more than what Brees cost a month ago to get more. I mean, if he's just going to be a guy that ends up getting, 50, 60 targets every year, regardless of what he does on the ground, then I'll take that.
Yep. Okay. I saw one that I wanted to pull up. Actually, let me just ask you guys about this. Trey Lance. We talked about him the other night. I think it's Shane, you're screwed, right? If Trey Lance isn't the real deal, you've been trading for him a lot. Yeah. What are your thoughts after week 1, Trey Lance?
I'm gonna give him a pass just because I saw what the field looked like in Chicago.
It was gross.
Not great, Bob. So I'm going to give him a pass for 1 week. Now, if he looks like crap again next week, well, then I'm going to start being concerned. And if he's still bad in week 3, well, then I'm really going to have concerns. And someone asked us, why are we okay to sell T-Law versus selling Trey Lance when, we haven't seen it out of either of them? Because what I saw out of Trevor Lawrence out of a larger sample size was that he was bad. Lance is obviously, and it's still the mystery. Mystery is a bad word, but it's still the upside because we didn't see him fail. Because even last year when he got in there and he got starts, he scored 20 points, 14 points, and 19 points. So I can't give up on him after one bad game in a horrible weather stadium where they like the grass looked like a slip and slide. So I'm not really concerned, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because like Justin Fields was horrible in the game too. Yet the expectations for him are so low that it's like if he just wins and makes 1 or 2 plays, he looked great. Trey Lance looked awful. But yeah, I'm willing to check back in like a week or 2 to see really what Lance looks like because I think you can give him a pass for these conditions.
Yep, fair. All right, let's find a player. So this one, it's just a partial message here, but I'm pulling this up. Just look at the last 6 characters. It says AJ Brown. Let's add an N, and I'm just gonna hide this and ask you, AJ Brown. What do you think about him after that performance? Were you loving it? Were you fist pumping over there in Philadelphia, Shane?
I gotta be honest, Joe, I was a little annoyed. I was like, they're not going to him enough. And then they opened the faucets, and Jalen Hurts was just like, this is what should scare you as a Devonta Smith owner if you have him in your leagues, is the reads where AJ Brown run Dallas Goedert. Oh, Devonta Smith's on my team. Like there was just full like drives. He did not even look to wherever Devonta Smith was. And AJ Brown, they used everywhere and a ton out of the slot. And if they keep using him out of the slot, teams are done. And there's no reason they won't throw to him 10 times. Look, we said AJ Brown is a target hog, right? This is what he's shown throughout his life. This is what happens when I don't want to call Devonta Smith a fake alpha, but this is what happened when a true target vacuum enters the picture. It's like a black hole. It absorbs everything around it, and it kills the little planets. And Devonta Smith's the little planet, and he got killed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Devonta Smith actually ran more routes than AJ Brown, and he played more snaps.
He did.
I think you can look at Devonta Smith very similar to like Hunter Renfrow. The Raiders and the Eagles are basically the exact same. You know where all the targets are going to go, but don't look at week one for Devonta Smith and Hunter Renfrow and be like, oh, these guys are phased out. They are what they are, but I'm interested in buying both of them because, I mean, they're still involved enough to where you can play them, but they're also like still the number 2 or number 3 player in the offense, and they're running routes on just as frequently as the alpha.
Yep.
So you're just going to have to bank on games where it's like, okay, they need to go away from AJ Brown for this game. They can't give him, 40% of the targets. Maybe it's only going to be 25%. And maybe Devontae gets 7 or 8 in this next game. Exactly. So I'm still interested in buying, but it's just the pecking order is clear.
It's just, it's AJ Brown is the monster, but there are going to be games where people are like, all right, well then we're just locking him down with our best corner and shadow. Like there's someone, and there's nothing you can do. You're going to have to throw to Devonta Smith, and Devonta Smith is still a fine wide receiver. It's just they're a different type of dude.
Yeah, and that's what would happen to CeeDee Lamb if another good receiver came to his team.
Yes.
I hate to say it, but if they get somebody next year, you're gonna go, oh, CeeDee Lamb, he's kind of like Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yep. Aaron, thank you very much for the super chat. Is this maybe Aaron a bear, Shane?
No. This is Huber.
Yeah, come on, Clay.
No, I know. Any very new subs, if they're on this show, they're like, what the hell is the guy in the middle? I don't even know his name. What is he talking about? 10-team Superflex, need a QB, have Jonathan Taylor, Barkley, CMC, and Derrick Henry. Do I trade one for Russell Wilson? And if so, what one straight up? 10-team Superflex. He's got a bunch of running back depth. Should he trade one of them for Russell Wilson? Which one?
Derrick Henry, if you can.
Yeah. Right. He's got the least amount of value and upside of all those guys.
I would be willing. I'd be willing to trade McCaffrey if I can get Russell Wilson and a first or something like that, or swap a first and a second. Because I think of the 3, Taylor, Barkley, and McCaffrey, I'm least confident in McCaffrey's offense and the cast. I mean, I'm not too confident in the Giants as a team, but I am fairly confident in their new coaching staff that they know what they have in Barkley, versus I'm not necessarily sure the Panthers do in McCaffrey. So I would be willing to add to, take an additional piece to Russ to move McCaffrey or Barkley. But I'm guessing obviously Henry would be the one you want to move. And I would do that straight up with your roster construction.
Here's the thing, and CMC had the highest snap share in the, at running back position last week, so it'll be okay for CMC, guys. But I'm moving Henry. But I gotta be honest with you, I want to aim higher than Russell Wilson. We're in the season, like I don't want QB 11, QB 12, QB 9.
Well, that's why you got to go for the first.
I saw this comment here.
Yeah, I had to start.
Nice star there. Joe Hebert. Taking my name in vain. Fantastic. We've got an awesome group in here. I'll tell you what, we have OGs. I guarantee there are tons of people who come every single time we're on here. We appreciate that. Okay. And by the way, the next time that these guys are talking, I'm going to selfishly post a couple, like an Instagram reel and a TikTok reel link in the comments. If you wouldn't mind going in there and giving a little heart, giving a little bump See if we can get some action on it. I'd appreciate that. It's the Manscaped one. If you haven't seen it, it's freaking hilarious. And Shane, come up with your ball story. Okay.
There's no stories. You just kick it to me, and then I start talking, and then whatever happens,
we'll get there when the okay. Here's what we'll put up. So Cam Akers RB1. Let's talk real quick about Cam Akers and Daryl Henderson.
So Cam Akers, I mean, where to start? He didn't get the start. He played on something like 70% of the snaps. Daryl Henderson was one of only 5 running backs with a snap percentage over 75% last week. And he just happened to be, I believe, the second or third highest snap share at the running back position. Whew, a lot to take in there. I don't know what the hell happened with Cam Akers. Like, you would think he didn't play when he came back from the Achilles last year, right? Like, that's what it looked like. Like, they were easing him in. Like, they Thanos'd our minds, and like they think we forgot about the playoffs last year. We watched you guys play him. I don't know what's going on there. I wish I was smart enough to tell you, but I am smart enough to tell you that if someone in your league likes Daryl Henderson, trade him in a second for a first. But I do like Henderson as my RB3.
Yeah, Cam Akers is a tough one because basically you either have to plant your flag on one side or the other. I'm in the place where it's like, if I can get a 23 second for Cam Akers, I'm probably taking it. I'd like to get a 23 second and you throw back a running back body that I might be able to use. But it's really just betting on the fact that if he doesn't, even if he gets back, does he get back to a range where he's outside of the running backs where we were normally going to target him? Or is he just kind of stuck in this like RB2 range that we always talk about, the dead zone range? Like, even if he makes it back, that's what his make back could look like, RB15, RB18. So yeah, you're gambling that he doesn't get back to that if you're accepting a second. But if someone came to me and said, I'll give you James Robinson in a second for Cam Akers, would you take it? Jamal Williams in a second for Cam Akers? Like, that type of deal is appealing if you're trying to get rid of him. So I think that's where I'm at on Akers. And then Henderson, the Rams have made it clear they don't want Henderson to be anything more than what he has been. And I'll say it this way. He is going to be, free agent after this year. So, I mean, do you want him if he goes somewhere else? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. He could be the next Chase Edmonds. He could be the next Ronald Jones. There could be either of those range of outcomes could be in his repertoire. So if you can get a second plus Samaje Perine or a filler running back like that, I'm okay doing it. And same with the Buffalo running backs. Like, Devin Singletary's in the same exact boat. Clay, you're muted.
I said, let me hide this one. I'll get you talking about this next one, and then I got to plug this computer in before all of a sudden I just disappear. Okay, 12-team Superflex, start 10, 23 first. Okay, 23 first and third, 224 first, and Romeo Dubs for Josh Allen. QBs are Lamar and Geno. Yeah.
Go get you some Josh, bro.
Yeah, I mean, do you even care? Like, 224 first when you're talking about Josh Allen, like the 23 first, whatever. But whatever, just
I'd add another 23 to that deal and still do it.
Exactly.
Here, I made a trade.
4 first.
I have a trade. I'd love the Dynasty Trades and 5 guys to take a look at and let me know what they think. If Clay could come back and join us.
Well, Clay disappeared. There he is.
Okay.
So plug in my computer.
Here's the deal. I won't tell you what side I'm on. Whatever. Side A, we have Joshua Allen.
Okay.
Side B, we have Dakota Sky Prescott, Breezy Hall, and DJ Moore.
Ooh.
You probably got Josh Allen because I know you have a lot of Breece Hall and DJ Moore.
And you have no problem paying up for a QB.
I know Shane's brain. He does not want to be buying Dak Prescott right now. So I'm guessing he got Josh Allen.
I'm guessing you got Josh Allen too. No?
No.
Ooh.
You went the other way, huh, Shane?
I got more Breece Hall and DJ Moore. And
who are your
Dakota.
QBs? Who are your QBs in that league?
It was Kirk Cousins and Joshua Allen. So now I have the white and black version of Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott, however you want to look at it, because they're the same guy.
Okay, but yeah,
I'm shocked you did that trade,
Who are
Shane.
you rolling? Who are you rolling out now?
Oh, this team is just a trash team.
Okay, it's trash. It's trash.
This team, honestly, it made itself better trading Josh Allen because now I have 2 additional starters in Breece Hall and DJ Moore as opposed to Sony Michael and I don't even know Logan Thomas.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Okay,
Sony
Michael. Yeah, I'm surprised he traded for a hurt Dak too. Okay, let's throw this up. Gator J, yo, what's going on in here? What's happening? Okay, how much are you paying for Pittman? Is he a top 5 dynasty wide receiver?
I don't believe
I'm not there yet, man. I mean,
the thing is, the top 5 dynasty receivers are basically Chase, Jefferson, and a bunch of guys no one will pay top 5 prices for.
Yeah.
So there's going to be people that push him up into the top 5 dynasty value because like you have to pick someone in a startup, and most likely someone's not going to pick Davante Adams over Michael Pittman. But what's the law of the land, Shane? As soon as one of these guys gets steamed way up there because he's young, then you sell, unless they have like multiple years of like this guy's just awesome.
I'll tell you what, though, if he throws up another 25% target share this year, which looks well within his range. So that's why when we were talking earlier, talking through the CD Lamb deal, where it's like, you know what, that's a good deal. You know what I mean? And based off that construct, then he is a top 5 dynasty wide receiver 5. But again, that's in the prism of, well, it's really 2 guys, and then I'm not exactly sure.
But the thing is, he didn't do it last year. Not to the elite level. He was good. But he wasn't to the point where it's like, all right, he has a top 12 season under his belt. Okay. And if he follows that up with a top 8 season, then I'm going to put him into the top 5. Like, I think he kind of reminds me of a little bit, and I don't think he's as good as this player, but he kind of reminds me a little bit of like Chris Godwin. He's probably a top 20 receiver every single year. Mm-hmm. But as soon as he jumps up into the top 4, you get out because you're going to be able to get back in the next year at wide receiver 10.
Yeah, well, I mean, let me ask. That's probably what you want to do with all those wide receivers that are not Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, and Justin Jefferson.
So I was listening back to the to our 23 first show earlier today when I was trying to chop up some reels, and you said that you would try to pick your late 23 first, and you're okay, if you want to send one of them at targeted insulated players. Will you give a projected late 23 first right now for Michael Pittman?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I would go down even lower for like Rashad Bateman or for, I mean, you can say like there's other guys in the range of Juju, Marquise Brown, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. There's a lot of guys. If I can project them to have a top 18 season with a ceiling, and if they have that type of season, they're tied to an efficient offense where their value will hold. That's what I'd be targeting with my super late first. I'm not like in a hurry to do it in every team, but if I go, hey, I have a really good team and I'm looking for a receiver, like that's who I'm looking to buy. I'm not looking to necessarily go buy a young guy that's done nothing. Like I'm not going to go buy like Treylon Burks for a late first. Like I'll wait because I'm pretty sure his value is going to kind of flatten off to where his price is going to be late first next year. So at least I might as well get this year's production on it too.
Okay, so I'm a rebuilder, THT. That will be top 3 next year after I spend my 3 firsts. It's start 11 Superflex. How many usable rotation guys do I need on my bench to get through a whole season in order to win? Example, your Boyds, etc. Right.
So we're gonna assume this is
the last part there.
Start 3 receiver league. 3 flexes, 2 running backs, a tight end, a quarterback, and a super flex. That'd be start 11. I probably want 3 quarterbacks, 9 receivers, 1 or 2 tight ends, and the rest running backs. Like that would be my roster construction. And those 9 receivers need to be guys that I could see where they're all top 50 or top 40-ish. So that's aggressive. Like, and sometimes you got to be creative. Like you could throw in guys like Adam Thielen, Jarvis Landry, like those types you can squint and say they're top 40, top 50 on a season, but they clearly don't have that dynasty value. But that's like for your 1 year window. Like that's what I want my construction to look like next year. So you have to kind of balance every Jarvis Landry you have. You can afford to carry a Treylon Burks, but you don't want to carry 7 of each because then you're a little too overexposed at receiver. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yep. Okay. Let me go back.
So to answer his question, he needs probably about 14 to 15 rotation players and the rest running backs.
Okay. All right. Let's go. What time is? We've got 1 minute. Let's knock out a few more. Okay. Let's do these fast. I had a few here in the hopper from the community tab. If I didn't get to yours, my apologies. We'll catch you next time, or hopefully we pulled yours up on the screen tonight. 12 team, 1 QB, half PPR, no tight end premium, start 9 contender. Give B-Rob a late 23 first and a late 23 second. Get Derrick Henry. Context: I have 823 firsts and also Hilliard. He's got 823 firsts and he's a contender.
Yeah. So this is where context clues are important.
Yeah.
And I discovered a context clue by him saying he has 823 firsts.
Just give it up,
I'm good with this, bro. It's a late pick. That's fine.
Yep, agree. I think Henry's one of those guys. If he just stays healthy, you're going to probably go project him for a decent workload. So yeah, it's worth the risk.
Yep. 12 team, 2 QB, PPR, start 9, no tight end premium, rebuilding. Give Gabe Davis, Dallas Goedert, get Trey McBride, an early 23 second, and a 24 first.
Done.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we want a 23 first, but I'll take a 24 first.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, if Gabe Davis has another week like he did last week, where the defense doesn't cover him again on 2 plays, you might be able to trade him for like multiple 23 firsts at this time next week.
10 team, 1 QB, PPR, start 9. Give Saquon, get a 23 first, early to mid, and Treylon Burks. I have 3 firsts, and I'm a bottom 4 team, but it wouldn't be worth it if I didn't get the 101.
I mean, I think this goes back to what we talked about at the very beginning of the show. Like, yeah, sure, you'd rather it be the 101, but if it's the 102, like, what are you holding out for Barkley if your team says trade him? What are you holding out for? The 101 to come to you and go, hey, I'll give you the 101? You know what I mean? Like, you're probably getting close to what you would need anyway, regardless of your team construct, and now it fits your team. Like the fact that it's the 102. Okay, well, if the 101's not coming knocking, what are you waiting for? I guess would be my pushback. Like the only thing you're risking is that next week someone gives you a better deal, but you're also risking, he blows out his ankle and you never get another deal again. So I think you just take it.
Yeah, because at this point last week, it was probably, and I don't want to say it's probably just the 23 first. Like his week probably got you Treylon Burks thrown in on this. So it's that volatile in season. So yeah, I'm going to take this and move on.
Okay. Here, let's do one more here, and then we'll go back to the ones from the chat. 12 team, Superflex, half PPR, no tight end premium, start 10. Give a late 23 first and Hawkinson. Get Mark Andrews and Khalil Herbert. Context is I have 323 first total and 2 that are just about guaranteed top 5.
I don't hate it. You're paying for the positional advantage of Andrews. We've talked about Andrews. I think he's extremely good. His usage in week 1 was great. So you're really just hoping for the spike weeks. Hawkinson, I kind of think we know what Hawkinson is. Like he's more in the Pat Freiermuth range than he is the Mark Andrews range. So this is definitely an overpay on paper, but I think that's also some bias when people see the name Hawkinson. They go, oh, he's destined to explode and become the next Mark Andrews. And probably not. So I'm okay doing this. You're chasing the positional advantage and you're getting I like the savvy part of getting the throw in handcuff running back as well.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is I like
and a half PPR.
Yep.
No, that's smart. Would it change anything if he or she didn't have 323 firsts? If it was only 1 first that he or she had?
I don't think the process changes. What changes is the the cost of what else you can't get with your first, and
Right.
basically
Opportunity
you've shot your one bullet for this deal versus what could come down the pike, and he has obviously 3 picks in the chamber still to go. So I like having that insurance. So that makes me more willing to take the risk on this trade. That is a good point.
Okay. So it looks like we've got 7 starred here. Should we just run through these starred ones and then
5 minutes we can roll through them.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay. Traded Barkley for Brees on Saturday. Thoughts? Should I be regretting that move?
No, you should not.
I mean, the regret is if Brees would have had a bad game and Barkley had a worse game, you couldn't get this trade. But then now you're sitting in a place where you're like, oh, maybe I could have got a second on top. I wouldn't regret it, but that's it.
Star 10 team Superflex, start 10, rebuild orphan team. Traded away Connor for a 23 seconds and third.
If you can't get more, why not?
Yeah. You don't need them.
Yeah.
Just cash out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, just that's the limit. Seconds and other seconds, or seconds and thirds. That's what you're going to do for James Conner.
Yep.
Yeah. Or you try to squeeze out like a young wide receiver. Like if you can get like an Amon Ra.
Right.
Well, I've assumed he's tried to get a first and he can't. What I'd rather do is get like James Cook and thrown in instead of the third, or get Isaiah Spiller or someone like that thrown in, because the third.
James Cook is a third now.
And it's more of get another asset that could be a live asset sometime during the year where I can get another second instead of settling for a third. I'd rather do that than take a third.
Yep. Makes sense. Okay. I commented this on your post earlier, but did this in a 12-team PPR Superflex start 10, gave Saquon and Wentz, got Waddle in 2 seconds.
I'm good. No thanks.
No.
You don't like it, Shane?
Gave Saquon and Wentz, got Waddle in 2 seconds. I'm fine with it. I like Waddle.
So it's like Saquon. Wentz is 2 seconds.
Yeah,
would you call that a wash? So
Wentz was QB 15 last year. I think he's probably worth 2 seconds. Now, is anyone paying 2 seconds? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm not necessarily just throwing him away for a single second. I mean, do you really want to trade Saquon for Waddle? I think maybe we see Waddle a little bit differently. But to me, Waddle is he's a wide receiver too. That's all he is.
I mean, that's incorrect. So that's the problem. Yes, we definitely see Waddle differently. And I thought I was lower on Waddle than most people, but I've seen to come around on him more with Tyreek Hill there, even though Tyreek dominated the targets and the usage on Sunday. But I still love Waddle's upside. Look, if a rookie wide receiver smashes, my poll is completely tenant, and I'm probably gonna, really, really value that player.
Good job. Just stopping on that. that is good restraint, Shane. I'm impressed.
I thought he was going to go Manscaped. It makes his poll look a certain way if he manscapes.
Well, I will say this after we get to Greg's question.
But go ahead. Yeah. After we get to Greg's question, gather yourself a little bit. I'm proud of you, Shane. Greg Dane. I'm guessing that's how we say his name, right? Thank you for the super chat, and I'm glad you enjoyed your review, Shane and Scott kill it, no doubt about it. Full rebuild, trying to move Dak. What's his value moving forward?
Well, and I saw someone smartly say this in the chat. If it's a full rebuild, why are you moving him right now? Like, you're picking a really bad time to trade him because he just broke his hand. So you can't even trade him to a team that needs him right now, because if they need him, well, he can't play. So hold on to him. Just hold on to him. If he comes back this season and he's lights out, well, then you can look to sell, and the price is going to be a 23 first plus something, preferably another quarterback. But don't move him now. You're not moving injured players now.
I think Dak is very good. His historic efficiency numbers are very good. There is going to be a time where the team figures it out and surrounds him with weapons again. And maybe this is just a blessing, because you're going to be able to get more Dak across the rest of this year. Because even when he comes back, like, he's probably not going to be right. And are you really going to be excited with what he's coming back to either? So I mean, I'm going to probably be very exposed to Dak. Yeah, he's going to be my highest rostered quarterback by the end of this year because I think you're going to see a turnaround in next season, next spring. So that's his value in a rebuild. Don't really change it. Keep it what it is. And if someone wants to pay you QB7 prices for him, then fine, but nobody will.
So you're going to be very exposed to Dak. Shane?
Yes. Oh, Manscaped polls. So Manscaping makes your pole look bigger. So I got a date on Thursday coming up.
Oh,
and yep.
Tell us.
Well, it's coming up on Thursday. It's sort of redhead. Apparently a natural. So that's exciting.
She's one of the viewers right now.
Yeah, I am not a natural redhead. So I'm gonna have to make sure I manscape because if I don't, it'll look like Nightfall, if we're gonna be honest. And look, I won't say and I won't besmirch her name by saying that she sounds easy, but she has said certain things that make me believe she might be. So it is vital that I use the Manscaped, and I'm personally very happy that I have Manscaped 4.0 to groom myself with. Thank you.
There you go.
Well done.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code TradesIn5 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com when you use the promo code TradesIn5. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
I will say Manscaped makes me much more confident. I'm proud of my Manscaped.
Look at this from Patty. Stop talking, Shane. Just quit it. Just quit it. That's awesome. This is what I claim for. Exactly, not Clay's read. Oh, I know, Henry. I know.
You know what? So I'm gonna, and I haven't done this yet. But one of these times after a date, I'm just gonna have to ask someone like, "Hey, just for informational purposes, would you say that Manscaped is a good product based off what you've seen?"
Right. Exactly. From your side of this.
Right. I'll see if I can get a testimonial.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Shane is the only one that can actually like attest to this stuff in real time, like if it's actually working or is it if it's not. My wife, when I brought all the Manscaped and I got my Manscaped package, she was like, "Oh, this is taking up room in the bathroom." You know what I mean? Like I have it sitting there charging. And it's like, we need to move this, like that's how Manscaped gets treated in my house.
Yeah. Well, if you need to move it, it comes with a very handy little bag as well.
It does. It does.
Now it's legit too. Even their USB like charging cords. Do you see how it has like their logo, like right there? They're top to bottom on their
everything's branding on them.
They smash the branding. Okay. Mike Harrison. So are we still valuing Etienne over J-Rob?
Yes.
Seems like each could be productive in a poor man's Kamara Ingram platoon.
Yes.
So, we talked about this a little bit earlier, or specifically I did, but so did Scott. Etienne ended up having the more of the high valuable opportunities. It's just so happened that James Robinson cashed those in. I'd expect Etienne to be a monster at some point this year.
For sure. Okay. That was the here we go. I use Manscaped.
There you go.
Run for 440 due to less wind resistance. So that means you're running naked. That's an alpha in the first place.
Yeah, and that's I respect that. If you're going to run naked, you got to make sure you Manscape because you're going to get a lot of looks. So you want to make sure that
we should pitch to Manscaped an idea for a product next year, like at the combine, because you could have like the word combine kind of fits like what could one of their products could be. Like something for athletes, help them run a better 40. Like that's a good idea. Pitch it, Clay.
Yeah, I'll do it. Whatever.
The Combine 1.0. It will definitely increase your 40 by like 0.5%.
Yeah, right. Not confirmed. Guys, we're done for the evening. This was fun. We appreciate everybody coming out. We're gonna try to do these Dynasty debriefs, if you will, on Tuesday nights. We're gonna try to keep our Saturday live streams as well. Guys, you got anything to say? Oh, one last thing. Like police, Shane, how are we doing? 164 eyeballs. What's going on with the likes?
I closed it. Last I looked, we're at about $130. So I'm proud of the community.
All right. Thank you, guys. We appreciate that. We appreciate all the super chats and just hanging out with us. Scott?
No, I think my final advice would be it's only been 1 week. Don't overreact, but you definitely should be reacting. But a lot of the reacting you do should be taking advantage of the other people that are reacting incorrectly.
Right. Look, and I for years was one of those like, oh, don't overreact, guys. But reacting at all isn't an overreaction. Make sure you're digging a little deeper into the peripherals. That's all. You know what I mean? Like, because you could look at the game line and all you see is James Robinson had 87 touchdowns last week and Etienne had none. And you go, oh, crap. You could see that Michael Carter had a ton of rushing opportunities and targets, and not realize, oh, wait a minute. Breece Hall also kind of had a nice target opportunity as well, and also scored 11 points on a lot less opportunities. Yeah. So don't go too crazy. Definitely react, but just make sure you're looking into it.
Yep. All right. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Later.
Chill, everybody.
Good night, America.